The Tesla Model Y is quickly becoming one of the most popular new cars on the road. It comes in the crossover SUV shape that people are liking more and more, and comes with a lot of advantages being a well-made electric car. More and more people are going electric every day and realizing why these cars are a great option. So today I'm going to review the Model Y after 19 months and over 23,000 miles and talk about the great things about it, the frustrating things about it, what to avoid if you're looking to buy it, and more. So let's get into it. For some quick background, the Model Y is Tesla's fourth true consumer vehicle, coming after the Model S, Model X, and then Model 3. Prior to those was the Roadster, but that was a specific proof of concept luxury vehicle to get them started on electrification. The Model 3 was Tesla's first entry into the more affordable market, coming in just over $35,000 and today's starting at $44,000 for the standard range model. Tesla's goal from the beginning has been to make electric cars cheaper, with ranges comparable to gas vehicles, so that there is no reason not to go electric. Ultimately, when charged from sustainable sources, which is possible, and getting more common, an electric car can run completely emissions-free, which ultimately helps us move away from fossil fuels that are harming our atmosphere. But Tesla knows that this can't be the only reason people will buy them. They need to make a product that is compelling and better overall, so that it just makes sense to switch to electric, regardless of your feelings on the sustainability aspect. So the Tesla Model 3 was a cheaper vehicle, and to this day remains one of the most compelling electric cars out there, and one of the best options in its price range. Then Tesla took that success, made it a bit bigger, added a hatchback, and brought out the Model Y. When looking at interior photos of the front of the Model Y, it's hard to tell it apart from the Model 3 since they share the exact same dash designs and main screen. Overall though, there are a lot of differences in the car that you won't pick up on right away. The Model Y is a crossover SUV that hasn't changed much since Tesla released it in March of 2020. There are some new features that I'll note, but overall your experience will be exactly as mine has been for the past 19 months with the car. It has 4 doors, a hatchback trunk, and a frunk. It seats 5 comfortably, and Tesla also sells a 7-seater option, adding 2 rear seats. Just keep in mind that with the sloped roof and crossover design of the Model Y, those seats have very little headroom and really will only work for small adults or children. I have the 5-seater and all seats have great space, with the rear middle seat coming in a bit wider than the Model 3. Thanks to the all-glass roof of this car, you get great views, but also great headroom, making this a comfortable option for most passengers. All seats are heated and the front 2 seats have normal expected adjustments, aside from moving lumbar adjustments in the passenger seat, which is something Tesla recently removed. The rear seats do have the option to recline, but it's only a couple of inches and hardly makes much of a difference. It does exist though. One of the first downsides you could experience with the Model Y comes right away here with build quality. Tesla is known for build quality that isn't as good as it should be for a now $50,000+ vehicle. It has improved a lot over time, and you typically won't be experiencing serious driving issues or anything like that, but rattles, squeaks, panel gaps, seat misalignments, paint issues, and more still get delivered on Tesla's vehicles. From what I've heard from customers recently, it happens less and less, but I experienced quite a few issues with my Model Y that I had to get fixed at the Tesla service center. They did it for free, but it was still frustrating. I still have one squeaking issue in the suspension when going over certain bumps at this point that again isn't common, but is frustrating to deal with on this car. As a driver, one of my favorite features is that the internal computer and screen remembers your seat positioning based on your profile, and it's incredibly easy to tweak and fine-tune over time. Your profile is linked with your key, so when you get in, it automatically adjusts to your profile. When someone else gets in, it adjusts to theirs. One great feature here that I only recently started using is easy entry. When you get in the car, the seat and steering wheel adjust to the position you set for easy entry, and then go to your profile's driving setup once you buckle up and press the brake. One of the best features of this car, though, is the cargo space. It's not something super high-tech or anything, but there are many options, and it's very easy to fit a lot of cargo in the Model Y. Up front, as I mentioned, is the frunk, which can fit about a carry-on suitcase size worth of cargo. For me, I use this for more permanent storage, like an emergency kit, but then the real storage is in the back. The trunk is an automatic hatch, and the space itself is large and easy to use since it sits level with the back of the car. It gets even larger though because there are 2 separate understorage compartments and 2 side cubbies. This extra space is something only electric cars can have with less parts, and it really makes a difference. I can usually fit in most of my groceries in the understorage, and then I still have a full trunk. For even more space, you fold the rear seats flat with the buttons on the seats or buttons in the back of the trunk, and they lay nearly flat, allowing you to fit lots of long cargo in when needed. With all of the options for space in this car, I find it to be one of the most practical vehicles you can buy because from the outside it doesn't feel gigantic, but it can fit a lot of stuff inside. The only downside to the Model Y's design here would be how much the roof slopes in the back. It's for aerodynamics, but it does cut out a significant amount of space when loading cargo in the trunk or seating 7. There's a line that you can't load taller objects above, and it gets shorter and shorter as you go back, preventing certain tall cargo from being able to be carried. Maybe it would fit in the middle, taller part of the car, but you actually can't get it there because of the cutoff point at the top of the hatch. Next, let's talk about what it's like to drive this car, and then we'll get more in depth on the features it includes and how they actually work in practice. Instead of a section of downsides or negatives, I'll just detail any annoyances with features as I introduce them. Unless you're incredibly passionate about driving a gasoline vehicle and shifting gears, driving an electric car is an experience that just makes more sense. It's smooth, easy to control, very quiet, and has much more power available to you at any given time. For a lot of people, they make more sense as a daily driver, and people who are really passionate about gasoline vehicles just have those for weekend cars. Accelerating is just a straight line of increased speed with not a single jerk changing gears because there are none, and the electric power is available right away. When you drive the Model Y, you'll find that accelerating is very easy and smooth, and braking is the same way once you get used to it. One pedal driving is included on the Model Y thanks to regenerative braking, and while it takes a couple days to fully get used to, it's a better way to drive. You rarely need to use the brake pedal because when you let off the accelerator, it starts gently braking for you and capturing that energy back into the battery. It allows very smooth accelerating and braking without having to move your foot between pedals. Then the base model long-range Model Y comes with a 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, and you can even upgrade this after the fact via software to 4.2 seconds. This is faster than most cars you can buy, and the performance model goes down to a whopping 3.5 seconds 0 to 60. Those 0 to 60s are fun, but they can also be very practical when merging quickly onto a freeway, needing to make an aggressive lane change and so on. I find it especially handy to have it on freeways in LA since it's available instantly. There's no delay between pressing the pedal and gaining speed thanks to its instant electric torque. Overall, driving is an incredibly awesome and smooth experience with the exception of ride quality. The Model Y rides quite a bit harsher and bumpier than you'd expect for a car in its price range. It uses a standard suspension setup and it just hits bumps harder than you'd expect. Tesla sells 3 different wheel options for the Model Y, and the more you pay for the wheels, the better they look, but the bigger they get, meaning the bumpier the ride. Here, after experiencing the 20-inch wheels for a while and then switching to the stock 19-inch wheels, I recommend that everyone who values ride quality get the stock wheels. They are cheaper, look fine, and ride significantly better than the larger wheels. Now let's talk about the tech included in the Model Y. First off, the Model Y receives over-the-air software updates regularly, just like a cell phone does. This means that new features are always being added to their cars, things are improving, and more. So when I mention Tesla improving features throughout the next section, that's what I'm referring to. You don't have to take it into a dealership for new features, it just happens over Wi-Fi. Regarding driving, one of the first tech features we'll talk about in this car is Tesla's autopilot system. Tesla is well known for their autopilot and full self-driving systems that are controversial in the news, but provide great features with a Tesla by default. Standard autopilot is included with every Tesla, and this enables advanced cruise control that brakes and accelerates based on the cars around you, as well as auto steer, which steers for you to keep you centered in your lane. This system is designed for freeways and takes the stress off of a long drive. Most of the time, this system works incredibly well, and I use it the majority of the time I'm driving on freeways. I'll usually get myself into the lane I want to be in, enter autopilot, and let it take over for the rest of the drive until I need to exit the freeway or get around an extremely slow car. Just keep in mind that you have to continuously monitor this system, and it's in no way fully autonomous. It takes the stress off of driving for sure and lets you relax a bit, but you're still responsible for taking over in case it does something wrong. Early on with my Model Y, I had a lot of issues with phantom braking, where it would suddenly brake for no reason. But lately I actually haven't experienced this issue hardly at all, and that's thanks to software updates. The only thing I do experience is that it still takes larger curves by riding on the outside of the lane. If I'm coming into a curve and there is a car right next to me, it will get closer to that car than I'm comfortable with, so I take over in those situations quite often. One more issue I have frequently is that I can see the traffic ahead of me slowing, but it doesn't realize until what seems like the last second. For instance, right here, it goes from 60 down to just over 40 extremely quickly, and that felt like a serious slam on the brakes. This happens periodically. With autopilot, you'll learn over time what situations you're comfortable having it drive for you and what situations you want to take over. Autopilot really shines on long drives like when I've done road trips from LA to San Francisco or Seattle, since it drives for hours on the freeway for me and I just need to pay attention, keep my hand on the wheel, and watch it do its job. Those features are included with the Model Y by default, but Tesla also sells a full self-driving package for $10,000. It's a software upgrade, and the FSD computer Tesla says this package includes is actually included in every Tesla by default, regardless of whether or not you select this package. At this point, I recommend that people don't buy this package on the car because I've found the features to not really be worth the high cost. Additionally, you can purchase this package after the fact or do a subscription of $199 per month indefinitely through the Tesla app to get the features. However, the reason Tesla charges so much is because it includes all software updates for future full self-driving technology from Tesla. Right now, the package includes Navigate on Autopilot, which will change lanes for you on the freeway, get around slower cars, and take interchanges. This works well, but is definitely not perfect, to the point where I actually never turn it on and prefer to just manually change lanes to get to a freeway interchange. Auto lane change is the next feature it includes, and that's the one I wish that they would sell separate from this package, because that's by far its best feature. You signal your lane change direction, it waits until it's safe, and then performs the lane change for you. This, coupled with Autopilot, is great on long drives, since you can get around slower cars or choose a different lane by just signaling rather than taking over Autopilot each time and then having to re-enter it. The next feature is Auto Park, which parks for you in spots or parallel parking. It has been buggy and often just doesn't come up as an option for me, but lately it has been getting software updates to improve it. Summon is where the car comes to you in a parking lot and can be a mixed bag. Sometimes it's really impressive, but sometimes it's ridiculously slow or gets stuck and just annoys people in the parking lot. Summon does also include the option to drive straight forward or straight backwards from the app though, and that is incredibly handy to have in tight parking spots. Traffic light and stop sign control is where the car will drive for you to a degree on normal streets and stop at lights or stop signs when needed, but this is still in beta and kind of the version 1 of the next feature they mention as coming soon, Auto Steer on city streets. Tesla claims that this is coming soon, but that has been promised for a long time. For example, it said coming soon when I ordered my Model Y in 2019. This is the true full self-driving feature that can handle any situation, and Tesla has been expanding the beta of this feature, but is still far from delivering true self-driving. It's also unclear when this will truly get released outside of a select beta. Overall, these features are cool, but not worth the $10,000 since I rarely use any of them in my daily driving, aside from auto lane change. However, Tesla plans to keep raising the price of this package because if that Auto Steer on city streets beta truly arrives and delivers true self-driving to customers who bought the package, it will significantly increase the value of their cars. If you plan to hold on to your car for a long time and you want to pay for that investment in future features and like future beta technology, that's why Tesla charges so much, and it could be worth it to you. In any case, the Model Y includes a lot of other great tech features that you will be using daily, especially since the main 15-inch screen is the way you control nearly everything you do in the car. When parked, your main controls for the trunk, frunk, lock, and such are on the left side of the screen, with maps taking up the right 2/3 of the screen. Aside from the new Model S, I think it's likely the largest maps you can get in a car, and it works really great using Google Maps integration. When you navigate somewhere, it routes you like normal and will route you to a Tesla supercharger on your way if you'll need extra charge to arrive at your destination. From the left side, you can pull up cards for tire pressure and trips. Then nearly everything else is accessed from the dock. The left car icon brings up quick controls for lights, mirrors, child lock, and more, as well as other settings you may need. Overall, quick controls includes everything you might need settings-wise while actually driving. The Music tab is next and showcases the incredible sound system in the Model Y. It's one of the best sound systems I've ever heard in a vehicle, and it includes built-in integrations for FM radio, your phone, streaming via Slacker, Spotify, karaoke, and TuneIn. Overall, it works great, and connecting to your phone over Bluetooth works extremely quickly. The main issues are some bugs that are just frustrating to figure out. I use Spotify for the most part, and I love having it on screen automatically and being able to navigate around on screen instead of my phone. However, probably about a quarter of the time, it just doesn't work. It's unclear why nothing is loading, and it doesn't tell me why, so the only way to get it to load is to click into Slacker streaming, see that load up, then go back into Spotify, and it seems to kind of relaunch it. As you saw before, you can select your media sources, and the only reason I actually include the streaming tab at the bottom there is to click into it when Spotify fails, and then go back into Spotify. It's super frustrating, and you'll probably experience it in the Model Y if you're using Spotify. Sometimes I try for a couple minutes and then just resort to my phone for music, but sometimes it works perfectly, and voice commands work perfectly as well, asking for a specific song via Spotify. Another frustration here is the search. The search is a global available Tesla Music app search, and it definitely needs work. When I search for an album, for example, Come Fly With Me by Frank Sinatra, the results sometimes won't show Spotify at first, and then I have to load it by clicking into streaming and then Spotify like I mentioned before. Then, if, for example, I click on the song initially and then realize I wanted to click on the album Come Fly With Me, the only way to get back to my search results is to search again. At least it remembers your previous search text in that box, but there is no back button after clicking on a song. There's just search again. Navigating around your recently played or saved albums in Spotify works well and is easy to go back with, but search could use a lot of improvement. One last annoyance to people would be that the Model Y doesn't yet include Apple Music, and that's something that has been rumored to come in software updates but hasn't arrived yet. In music though, you can balance it, choose various levels of immersive sound, which sounds really great, and adjust balance. I love the sound system overall, but wish the UI was a better experience in line with something like the Spotify or Apple Music apps for iPad or iPhone. Voice commands are included in the Model Y for a variety of things, and you can use them to do many things on screen if you prefer not to touch the screen when driving. You can adjust climate, turn on heated seats, bring up the rear camera, open the glove box, send text messages, make calls, and request a specific song from Spotify or Slacker, among other things. Overall, they work great, but still have some issues sometimes when trying to find a song, especially depending on your LTE connection. If you have low connectivity, sometimes voice commands just don't work, and it doesn't tell you a reason why it's not working. What I've noticed for music, though, is that if you have your iPhone connected to Bluetooth, you can easily say, "Hey Siri," to play a song from your iPhone to the car. My apologies if I just turned on every Apple device in your house, by the way. Next in the dock is the rear camera, which brings up a large rear camera and 2 side cameras, making parking incredibly easy. You can also bring this up anytime when driving, which comes in handy. Windshield wipers are next, but rarely need adjusting thanks to auto wipers. Then the secondary dock includes the call menu, calendar synced from your phone, another rear camera button for whatever reason, the energy screen to show details about your energy usage, charging screen for details when charging, a web browser that's hardly usable in my experience, entertainment, and toy box. Entertainment includes a number of games that are fun to have in the car when parked, or for passengers to play when driving. It also includes Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, YouTube, Twitch, and Tesla tutorials for when you're parked. These are great to have since they can play shows on the full screen when charging, and they use the incredible sound system in the car. However, the apps are the slowest experience you'll have for any of these services anywhere. Once the show is playing, it works fine, but navigating around the UI in these apps is extremely slow and arguably the worst UI experience you'll have in the Model Y itself. You also can't minimize these apps, so if you need to check something on screen, you have to close them entirely and then reopen them again. They're awesome to have, and I don't think any other car has Disney Plus built into it, but this doesn't excuse the extremely slow navigation experience you'll have here. Toy Box includes Boombox, which lets you play funny sounds or current media through the exterior speaker, Emissions, which lets you make certain passengers fart with a variety of fart options, Tracks, which lets you make simple beats, Romance Mode, which sets the mood with a crackling fire on screen, Sketchpad for drawing, Mars Mode to turn your maps into Mars, Santa Mode to turn your navigation into Santa for the holidays, and Rainbow Road, which plays the More Cowbell sketch from SNL and turns the road into a rainbow when in autopilot. Most of these are random, silly Easter eggs, but Boombox could be used functionally if you want to play music from the outside of your car. It's just not the best speaker. Next in the dock is climate control, which is super handy. The Model Y has an invisible AC system with no vents you can see or adjust manually. Instead, you adjust the airflow animation on screen and you can get more accurate with it. You can also adjust auto temperature here, turn on keep mode to keep the AC on when you go into a store, turn on dog mode or camp mode, and turn on heated seats. This may seem like a lot of screen usage to adjust climate when driving, however the position of your vents are saved to your driver profile, so I find that I never actually adjust my vents and just change the auto temperature at the bottom of the screen. Heated seats, defrosters, and then volume controls are the rest of the dock controls, and to finish out the main screen functions, there's driver profiles, Sentry mode, dashcam viewer, Wi-Fi settings, Bluetooth settings, and if you get it installed, HomeLink at the top of the screen. HomeLink is the automatic garage opener that shockingly doesn't come included in the car. It costs an extra $325 and has to be installed after delivery at a service appointment. Pretty unfortunate omission by Tesla of a standard premium vehicle feature there. Sentry mode and dashcam are two of the last bigger features to mention, and overall these systems work great and are actually getting even better soon. These are security systems that use 4 of the cameras around the car to record any security event that may occur. When driving, the dashcam system is constantly recording recording and writing over itself until an event occurs, like an accident, or anything you may want to save. You can set it to save a video when you honk, and the Model Y includes a drive to save this footage inside the glove box. This has come in extremely handy for accidents where the Tesla driver has footage from 4 angles of what happened by default. Sentry mode uses the same cameras when parked to record if anyone gets close to the car, decides to damage it, or try to break in. The new features coming to this part of the car are something that Tesla is currently in the process of updating for users over the air. Sentry mode live streaming to the app. Tesla is adding the ability to view the live feed from your car's cameras through the app, just like you would on a Ring alarm or any similar home alarm system. We haven't seen it in practice yet, but it seems like it will be extremely useful. One of the last tech features to mention about this car is that app. The Tesla app will function as your main key, unlocking as you approach the car and locking as you walk away. I used to have issues with this feature of the app early on, but Tesla recently shipped a massive update to this app, and I haven't had any locking or unlocking issues since getting that update, meaning that this feature now works extremely well. The app shows your car, allows you to lock or unlock, adjust climate, adjust charging percentage and charging amps, open the trunk or frunk, and more. Climate controls allow you to precondition the car, turn on heated seats, vent the windows, and more, and you never need to worry about where you're parked since there are no emissions from the car. The app also shows your location, includes summon controls if you bought the FSD package, allows you to turn on valet mode, sentry mode, or speed limit mode, includes a section for software upgrades or accessories, and your safety score if you opted in for that feature. Then you can schedule service or roadside assistance and see your miles, VIN, and software version. I actually find that I don't use the app itself too often, as I usually just open my trunk by walking up to the car and pressing the button, but in extremely cold or extremely warm times of year, I love the preconditioning features. You can also add Tesla widgets to your home screen in iOS now. One feature Tesla just added was Schedule, that allows you to set preconditioning for a departure time, turn on off-peak charging, and schedule charging for a specific time. In the past, that scheduling could only be done on screen, so that's a very handy new feature. That's a breakdown of what it's like to drive and operate the Model Y. Overall, there's a lot of great stuff, and in my opinion, it's one of the best vehicle experiences you could have, but there are a number of things I'd like to see Tesla improve, especially regarding the in-vehicle software. The last thing to talk about is ownership, since owning an electric vehicle is quite a bit different than a typical gas vehicle. Typically, people want you to think that owning an electric vehicle means you're stuck at a charger for hours, it doesn't last long enough for any trips, it drives slow, or lacks the speed of a gas car. The opposite of all of these things is actually the case though. Regarding the speed and range, we talked about that already, and the standard long range, with its 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, beats most vehicles in its class. For range, Tesla claims a 326-mile EPA range, which is going to be plenty for your needs. However, it is important to remember real-world range here. I have the long-range Model Y, and my 99% charge mileage, which calculates based on my true driving, shows 281 miles of range. I found this to be pretty accurate, and I've never seen close to 326 miles of range. To achieve that, you would need to drive for the best possible efficiency, which rarely occurs for me in Southern California. Still though, that 281 miles is plenty for me, and day to day I just charge at home. I use a NEMA 1450 outlet in my garage, and it charges my car overnight to exactly what I need the next day and costs far less than gas. Overall, this is far easier than getting gas as well. I haven't been to a gas station since I got this car, and it saves me a ton of time. The times you will be spending more time charging though is on a road trip, which still isn't as bad as people expect thanks to Tesla's supercharger network. Tesla has over 25,000 global supercharging stalls and plans to keep expanding exponentially in the next few years. These chargers charge up to 200 miles in as little as 15 minutes and can take care of your needs for most trips easily. They're strategically placed so that road tripping around most of the United States is easy to do, and a lot of other countries, and won't take too long. I've found that the majority of the time I plug in, get some food, use the restroom, and by the time I get back to the car, I have the charge I need to continue my journey. The only time I've been frustrated with charging speeds was when I had to wait in a line at a charger, which is rare but can happen on holidays especially, or when I've been driving all day and just want to get home but I need to wait 15 to 20 minutes to charge. Supercharging does add time to long road trips compared to gas fill-ups, so that's important to keep in mind if you road trip all the time. For me, I only do it a few times a year, and I don't mind the extra time at all, especially since I save so much time and money throughout the year charging at home instead of going to gas stations. If you don't have a way to charge your your car at home, it would be good to set that up before purchasing or have a plan for how you will charge close to home if that's your option. Owning the Model Y for the past 17 months has been a fantastic experience and has shown me that I will never go back to a gasoline vehicle. I love everything about the electric vehicle experience, and Tesla seems to do it better than anyone else. The Model Y is an extremely functional vehicle with far more storage space than you'd expect from the outside and includes a wide variety of high-tech, very functional features. It's not free of issues though, and hopefully this video gave you a realistic review of what owning this car is like over time. It's fantastic, but will frustrate you in little ways here and there. The Model Y is at an all-time high starting price right now, starting at $56,990, and that's due to supply issues, demand for this car, and many factors like a possible new EV incentive coming soon. Tesla only plans to produce more of the Model Y, building up 2 new factories for this car with even more advanced manufacturing technology and new battery cells in the next couple years, so it's definitely tough to time exactly when to buy if you're looking to buy in the long future. I'll be sure to keep you posted on the latest though, so make sure you subscribe to this channel to see those videos about new Tesla updates. In the meantime, you can check out the latest for Tesla price increases by watching the video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.